At TT Games we make the LEGO video games. In our LEGO games, we always try to use real-life LEGO models from LEGO playsets wherever possible, put them in the game. We get LEGO sent through to us by LEGO company so we can create them in real life. But because we expand on what's created, we have a huge library of real-life bricks too. So we create our models often in real life before we do digitally. And maybe the best way for you to see that is for me to go and introduce you to some of the team. So here we are in the LEGO building area, and this team get to have so much fun because they build the larger, more complex LEGO models and the vehicles.
Everything that we build has to be able to be built by a child. It's really important that we don't cheat. We don't stretch parts, we don't force parts. It all has to be built, physically. As a team, where we start off with the film footage. We look at the vehicle from the film, and then we have to compare it to the size of the T-Rex that we're going to use. So our first port of call is to take hold of this T-Rex model and put it into our software. So here's a very basic block out of the T-Rex and a very basic block out of our Jurassic Park responder. So it's important that we do this block out model so that the scale of this vehicle is correct. When we hand this block out over to our designers, they can't make that vehicle bigger or smaller. They have to make it exactly that size because it's going to interact with the T-Rex. So once we've agreed the scale, it'll be handed over to our LEGO designers and they will build the model using our extensive library. We have over 3,000 parts to choose from, all categorised. We have an extensive library of over 3,000 parts. It's really important actually if you want to be a LEGO designer to know all the parts, so actually practicing at home and actually working and making models and understanding parts and what they can do and how to use them is really important. And this is something that our designers and myself have to be able to do from a day-to-day basis. We have to know this library backwards, because when you're designing, you're looking for a part, you have to know where to find it and what it can do. Here's the responder in our test level with all the other vehicles, and as you can see, the scale was really important, because all the other vehicles, they would have been modelled and scaled to this vehicle. All I can say is this part is the fun part. This is the part where you brought a vehicle model to life, and you really can have some fun here.
A LEGO construction artist is responsible for making and creating LEGO interactable assets, LEGO interactable set pieces and puzzles as well. So a really wide range of stuff that you see in the LEGO games. In this example, we needed to make a giant prehistoric flower. We literally design a LEGO asset in our head or on paper first. That's the first stage of it. And then when we start to build it out of LEGO, we'd come to this browser to bring that into the Maya scene. You can see really quickly how we'd start building forms out of LEGO. So this piece would go over here. So there's the stem. Then we move over to the head, which is obviously a lot more pieces because the flower head is going to be huge, And here's the built version. At this stage, we'd probably do a quick animation test as well, just to make sure that everything is animating the way we want it to and it can articulate. And then once we build the flower head, we're going to go on to the petals. This is the unbuilt version of the petals that we're going to use to populate around our giant prehistoric flower head. And this is the built version here. The purpose for this asset was to allow the player to water the floor, and then a giant prehistoric flower / beanstalk was going to grow out of the ground.
Senior artist looks after team environment artists, mainly working through the open world hub sections of the game. Working on, initially this will be the very large area, the Isla Nublar, so we'd look at a top-down map We generated it from real-world reference. This is very basic form. We use the Lego dinosaurs as reference for scale. Also, we've got the vehicles and the helicopters and things like that. So we base the helicopter, we use that as a scale reference, and then build a really, really rough kind of layout. As you can see, this is going to be the iconic waterfall scene from the first film. Once the final art pass has been done, we'll do a collision pass. This is a basic mesh that sits over the top of the final art. You can see it's coloured here. Each colour code is a terrain ID, so when the vehicles are driving over this grey-blue section here, it'll be gravel, so dust and things will get churned up behind the wheels. If it drives through these blue patches, this is water, so water will splash up as the vehicle reacts to that. And bumping over these little sections here, they're stones, so the physics on the wheels will react to that as well.
I think the real key appeal of the games is that everyone can play them. I think that they are true family titles. The amount of people who play through them with their kids, and it's quite often, you know, how they're introduced to video games. And I think the other thing is that we managed to inject, you know, a lot of humour into these titles.
So the famous T-Rex chase, you can see the vehicle really nice and close up. When I first saw this level, I just loved it instantly. I was a little bit concerned about how we'd be able to recreate the T-Rex chase because it's so iconic, but when you see the vehicle in there, you see the T-Rex chasing you, it's just so close to the film, it's cool.